What's up, Ludens? Welcome back to another episode of the Ludens Query Report. It's been a while. We'll get into that. But I am one of your hosts today, Moses, aka MojoCritical, and I am again joined by my good friend Ricky, aka BaconBeercan. What's up, Ricky? I like your shirt.
Yes.
What's on your shirt? What's that?
That is a.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, right? if you played the game, then you know what this is. You know, you know what these are. You know what We know where to get them.
That's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. I got
Uniqlo,
something
man.
nice too. I got something nice too. And the things we're wearing, they have something to do with what we're going to be talking about today. Let me just put on what I.
Oh no!
Let me just put this on here.
Oh no!
We're going to be talking about some games.
The 7 out of 10 game. All right, let's hear it.
Actually, we're going to talk about that too. All right. But yeah, Ricky, it's been a while since we've done this. How have you been? Do you miss doing these things? Have you been wondering where I've been hiding?
I miss it, but but at the same time, I know where you are. I know what you've been up to.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, you've been stranded on the beach in the past week.
This is true. It's very true. Lots of games.
You've
Since
been
our
stranded
last
on the beach,
since our
stuck
last
there.
query report, I've been slacking a lot.
With no way, you're stuck there with no way back.
I'm not
waiting for
repatriate.
Sam to come rescue you. You're stuck at Edge Knot City, eagerly waiting for Sam to arrive.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding. It is my favorite game of all time, and playing it again, the director's cut, it is just reinforcing why I love it. Just doing that first ever delivery when you come out of the cave, hearing those the likes you get. Oh man, I felt it. And Kojima knows what he's doing. He knows that when you get likes, you get that hit of dopamine, and he literally calls it lycosin in the game. That oxytocin, lycosin. It's very meta, and I just love it. I love all the meta stuff that's going. Oh, I hit my microphone. All the meta stuff that's going on in Death Stranding. And I know you've been doing it too.
For a few days.
We're a couple of mules here.
For a few days, I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding, although now I have moved on, for now, to play a different game.
Oh, you'll be back.
Well, I'll do a few deliveries here and there, but I have to finish Trails in 4 weeks. 4 weeks to finish this game.
Is that a problem? Isn't 4 weeks enough time for someone that has all of his weeks available?
Oh, I wanted to play the whole game on stream. So with that in mind, let's say I stream like 20 out of the 28 days coming.
Oh my goodness.
Then I have to play at least 5 to 6 hours a day to get through the game.
Oh my goodness. That's a full-time job.
It's doable. That is a job. That is my job now.
Well, if you love what you do, you're not working a single day of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what you're doing.
I'm just playing games, man. It's not working.
Same here. Yeah, since our last podcast, I've been playing like a bunch of games. 3 games to be exact. Deathloop, then Kena Bridge of Spirits, and now Death Stranding. So lately I've been like you in terms of news. I've been under a rock. I've been on the beach.
That's a way to live, man.
And just
Stress-free,
been
no frustration, no bullshit from Twitter. See, look at you. You're smiling. You're happy.
No, I'm happy because I'm back. All right, because enough is enough, and some big news has come across my computer screen, and I just had to talk about it with my favorite person to talk about this stuff with. So, without further ado, let us begin the Ludens Query report for September 30th, 2021. It's already September, end of September. We're going into October tomorrow. It's crazy. God damn. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 things on our report here. 5 items. As usual, one by one. And we're going to get some facial reactions. I'm going to need some sound out of you because this is a podcast. All right, so we're going to get some reactions out of BaconBeercan right now. First, we got 5 items. Number 1, we're going to talk about the biggest announcement so far at TGS. So you'll get more reactions when we start talking about them. Number 2, the Game Awards sets a date. Number 3.
I forgot about that.
Number 3. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you know this already. I hope you don't. Because Bluepoint Games officially joins the PlayStation Studios family. It's official now.
Time.
It's official.
Fine. After how many months? Like everyone knows already, right? Like, you know, if you like Sony games, then you should know this already. Anyways, okay, keep
But
going.
it's officially official. It's officially official. Right. Announced and everything. Number 4. Right. This is probably the best of all. God of War wins IGN's best video game of all time bracket.
Wait, the 2018 God of War?
2018 God of War.
For IGN?
IGN's 64 game tournament poll type of thing. 64 of the top games reviewed at IGN go head to head until 2 remain. And take this, God of War beats GTA 5 in the final round. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And then more God of War stuff. Christopher Judge explains what really caused Ragnarok's delay. So we're going to get into that. But first, we're going to move on to our first story of tonight.
This better be good because I'm not looking forward to the last 2 topics.
I am. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be a fun show, Ricky. So
I gotta
buckle up.
I got to loosen up.
We'll start off mellow. We're going to talk about the biggest announcement so far at the Tokyo Game Show. Have you been watching any of the Tokyo Game Show so far?
Nope. I wanted to watch it last night and I fell asleep. So
yeah, I haven't tuned in. Not particularly interested. And just kind of waiting for the news to kind of show itself. And that's exactly what we got here. So we're going to move over to IGN.
IGN again?
We're going to go over to
Trash.
IGN. Adam Bankhurst at IGN talks about the Tokyo Game Show 2021 biggest announcement so far. Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, and Xbox News were the highlights of TGS's first day. He writes, Tokyo Game Show 2021 has arrived and brings with it some big announcements from such companies as Xbox, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Capcom, Konami, MiHoYo, Bandai Namco, and much more. The show has already begun and will continue through Sunday, October 3rd, and each day is filled with live streams and presentations for some highly anticipated games coming later this year and beyond. We are here to not only help ensure you don't miss any of the best moments with our Tokyo Game Show 2021 How to Watch Guide, but this article will also be constantly updated with the biggest news, trailers, interviews, and more as they happen each day of the show. So I'm not going to read all the points here. I'm just going to read the headlines. So we got Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion will include a new hub, monsters, and locations.
Yeah, I heard about that. That I've heard about.
Yeah. So Monster Hunter Rise, it's a
Switch
game for now. So
it's coming to PC. I've heard it's coming to PC.
Yes, it's coming to PC, which is the next It's the next headline here. Monster Hunter Rise comes to Steam in January 2022.
Oh, okay.
So Ricky, as a person with a really nice shirt, how does this make you feel?
Good. I'm looking forward to playing this on
You're gonna
PC.
pick it up in January?
I will if there's maybe not in January because there's a certain other game coming out in January. I have to play.
Of course, that game is Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. But I am very interested in checking out Monster Hunter Rise. I wanted to get it on the Switch, but at the same time, the performance kind of kept me away because I heard like it's stuck at 30 frames. I want better resolution. I want better frame rates. I am a spoiled gamer. I've experienced the quality of life that PC and PS5 has provided me in the last few years, so I cannot go back to that piece of junk.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you didn't even play it yet, right? You might as well wait until January or
I might as well wait. At this point, I've waited this long. I might as well wait till I can play it in 60 frame.
Oh yeah. So the new version will feature 4K resolution, high-res textures, uncapped frame rates. You don't care about this, but optimized keyboard and mouse controls, voice chat, and ultra-wide support. But yeah, this is definitely going to be the way to play Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be no crossplay, so that is unfortunate.
That's fine. I don't want to play with Switch. I'm just kidding. Don't play me. Oh, the Nintendo fanboys, take it easy.
Hey man, like the Japanese players, they're playing on the Switch, and you know how godlike they are in Monster Hunter, man.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Showcase reveals Sonic and Ghosts and Goblins collaboration and more. So always love that Monster Hunter always does these collaborations with random games. It just fits.
Okay, Lance with Ghosts and Goblins. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Or Sword and Shield, you know.
Yeah.
So I always love those collaborations. Some Xbox news. Phil Spencer wants Xbox to increase its Japanese game lineup. I'll read a little bit about this because this is important. I know the Xbox isn't popular amongst the Japanese market, but
talking to Shinji Mikami. We'll see what
Head
comes
of
of it.
Xbox, Phil Spencer, said that Xbox is working, quote, every single day to increase our lineup of Japanese games in order to help bring Japanese games around the world. It's an honor to support the Tokyo Game Show and our Japanese partners, Spencer said in a conversation with Shinji Mikami. We're working with Japanese publishers every single day to increase our lineup of Japanese games on Xbox. We know it's really important to fans and customers on Xbox. So that's the thing that I have to give credit to Xbox for. They're definitely forward thinking and want to expand how far their reach can go. So they're going for worldwide. They're trying to get people onto their Xbox Game Pass ecosystem, and so far it's working. I'll tell you that. It's working.
In terms of expanding their Japanese game, should have done this freaking 5 years ago, man. They're too late. The Japanese market has already kind of gave up on them. No one in Japan owns an Xbox, and can I just say that picture of that mech for Xbox is one of the most half-assed attempt to appeal to the Japanese crowd I've ever seen. It's so shitty. This is not how you design a mech. Come on, there's no elegance, there's no taste, it's just bad.
You gotta love the Ricky take. Moving on. Tango Gameworks is developing a new game, Evil Within 2 director leading. So the developers of Ghostwire Tokyo have already moved on to create a new game. Scarlet Nexus and more headed to Xbox Game Pass. That is an interesting thing that we can talk about. Redfall, Starfield, and more will be localized for Japan. I think that is more so the line of what I guess Phil Spencer is talking about here with supporting. It's not necessarily a Japanese game, but just allowing the Japanese market to play these games, because localizing means they have to translate the games, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of manpower, a lot of money to do. And then over here we have for Starfield, apparently they have 150,000 lines of dialogue, and they have to translate all of that. So that is definitely a huge workload to take on.
Funny how that works, because when games coming from Japan over to English, and they only translate it but have no voice over, and people complain, it's like, oh, they're just being lazy, right? But the other way around, it's like no one really complains.
What do you mean? Like when they translate Japanese words, like for the subtitles?
Or when they, let's say, bring like GTA to Japan, they don't do, if they don't do voiceover, they're like, okay, whatever, we just read it.
Right. Yeah. So reading is important, people. Just because you're a gamer doesn't mean you should hate reading. Reading really, like, I love reading in games. It's a lot of stuff that you might think it's a cop out. They'll add more to the story, but come on, video games are hard to make, and you can't voice line every single thing you write. Sometimes you have really good things, but it is easier to just put them in journal entries. So read, people.
Depends on how they're implemented, but yeah.
And King of Fighters 15, SNK reveals its first all-new character. SNK unveiled Isla, the first brand new character for the upcoming King of Fighters.
I guess she was the first brand new character, eh? Yeah, that's true.
How does this make you feel as a fighting game enthusiast? What's your take on it?
I don't know. That's cool.
That's cool. You heard it here first.
New characters is cool, but I guess I have to see more, like, what she can actually do before I kind of judge her. But based on her looks, very, very typical King of Fighters, just like kind of fashionable. We'll see what her moveset is like, or how she actually plays like, because we kind of see some of her movesets.
Okay. I'm not much of a fighting game dude. My experience is just Soul Calibur and now Guilty Gear Strive. So whenever fighting game stuff comes up, I'm not that much in the know. And the last two things worries: the Good Life gets an Xbox exclusive demo, and Eternal Return gets a release date and trailer. And that's it. One thing I do want to talk about is Scarlet Nexus going to Game Pass. So this kind of brings up a thing about how when games, they get released initially, sometimes they just get released, they don't go on Game Pass, right? So for studios now, they might see Scarlet Nexus as a kind of guinea pig for a certain strategy. First, they release it to consoles for the next, just release for consoles and get your initial sales from the launch hype and word of mouth, and then a few months down the line, then you release it again on Game Pass, so you kind of double dip, and then you get more people into Scarlet Nexus, and then that could kind of revitalize the brand or the IP. People will stream it more. More people will have word of mouth on it. It kind of has a revival of the IP, just a few months down the line, and then more people will buy it on other platforms like Steam or PlayStation, right? So, do you think this will happen to more games? Like they'll initially release it, and then a few months down the line, Game Pass. How does this make you feel?
I feel like, well, this is the logical step. Because I think we talked about this for Hades as well. I think, where they initially release as as a purchase to own type of game for a few months, and then after that, then they put it on Game Pass, so they can basically make the most out of of both worlds.
Yeah,
they can get their money by selling copies for those who really want to play it first, especially for bigger titles. Because some people, they want to play it ASAP, and then create your content, throw it online, whatever, or just be able to talk about it, right? Because that's the thing about games and even movies, TV shows. You want to experience it ASAP, just so you can talk about it with other people who have experienced it. So those people, they can make money off of those people, and then after that, then release it on Game Pass. So who are for people who are kind of a bit on the fence, they can try it.
Yeah.
Which I'm in that crowd as well right now for Scarlet Nexus, because
Mhm.
I am a little interested in the game, but based on what I've seen, I'm not too sure about it. It seems like a very 7 out of 10 type of anime game. Like, it looks cool, but not cool enough for me to want to just dive in
Yeah.
day one.
It's not a game that you want to buy day
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Or it's a wait for sale type of game. And that's the thing with newer IPs. Like, you're not sure if you want to jump into a new IP, because all you got to base it off of is trailers and track record of the studio. So for me, when I see a new IP come out, first thing I do is, okay, who's the studio? Who's working on this, right? And then that'll tell me, okay, is this going to be a game that I will purchase or will have more interest in, or is this going to be a game that it has piqued my interest, but I'll just wait until I get an opportunity to get it either for free or included with the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, or wait for a sale.
Yeah.
So I think for newer IPs, I think that'll be
that's a path they'll
strategy.
go for. Yeah, that's a strat. That's a path they'll take. Release it like the old-fashioned way, then put it on whatever Game Pass or PS Now, whatever. I think that is a good way to go about it.
Right.
Unless you are it's a game made by a huge dev, like say Starfield, Bethesda. People will eat it up because they think it's going to be a next Skyrim, even though I have been doubts about it, but that's a different story. So like a game like that, for Starfield, all they have to do for on a trailer, just say by the people who brought you Skyrim, and then people just run out there and drove to buy it.
That's definitely a marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. They, in a sense, they earn that reputation. Skyrim. I don't like it, but a lot of people do. It's people like it for a reason.
Yep.
So they've earned that trust in people. So in that case, yeah, sure, take advantage of it. Just release it normally. Unless something happens and it blows up in your face, then okay, maybe they put on a Game Pass. But unless that happens, I say that game, they will keep it as something you have to go out and buy. So like 100%. Games like that, or even in the future, if and when we get GTA 6, they'll do the same thing.
Oh yeah, but yeah, for sure. Will you be catching any more of the Tokyo Game Show from now until Sunday?
I would like to. I would love to. I'm gonna see. I'll have to check the schedule to see what's coming up next, and then I'll try to watch some.
Right. Moving on to another show that comes up yearly, the Game Awards. So, the date has been officially set, and again we move over to IGN. Just talking a little bit about the Game Awards, and it sets its date. So Joe Screbbles over at IGN writes, the Game Awards 2021 sets a December date, and it's being held as an in-person event. The Game Awards 2021 will be held on Thursday, December 9, and after more than a year of digital-only events, the show will be held in person. Despite being an audience event at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, the event will, of course, still be streamed live for free, and it promises awards, first look world premieres, and new game announcements, plus musical performances, including the Game Awards Orchestra live on stage at Microsoft Theater, conducted by Lorne Balfe. The event will be invite only, and details on health and safety protocols will be announced in the coming weeks. Nominees will also be announced closer to the event. Jeff Keighley writes on Twitter, or tweets, 10 weeks from tonight, December 9th, we will be live on stage for the Game Awards at Microsoft Theater in LA. Excited to be back to our full-scale show. That means the Game Awards Orchestra live on stage, once again, conducted by Lorne Balfe. Much more to share in weeks ahead. And then we have the poster. Game Awards, December 9th, 2021. Quotes, we are very excited to return to the Microsoft Theater for a special night to celebrate the past, present, and future of video games, said creator and host Jeff Keighley in a press release, our goal is to bring the entire community together to celebrate the most powerful form of entertainment in the world and recognize emerging voices that represent the future of the medium, end quote. Last year's Game Awards saw The Last of Us Part 2 dominate proceedings, taking home wins in 7 different categories alongside the likes of Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, and No Man's Sky. So
Tsushima was robbed. Robbery. Tsushima was robbed.
Honestly, in the past few months, just thinking back to last year's Game Awards, I was in the same boat as you. Like, I would say Ghost of Tsushima deserved the Game of the Year, but now, like, looking back and just remembering what made Last of Us Part 2 so great, it for me, I think it deserved it. It was well deserved for Game of the Year 2020.
No.
It's a technical marvel, technical achievement. Everything was just like so well done. Everything. There's like
it's well
really
done, but over Tsushima, I disagree.
Ah, man. Like, they're both great games, and
They're both good games, but I think Tsushima deserves it more.
Man, they both deserve it, honestly. Like, if Ghost of Tsushima won, I would be 100% on board. Since Last of Us did win, and I'm 100% on board. Like, I can't argue with the awards that it got. Like, it's just such a technical achievement for the PS4. Even on a base PS4, what it achieved in storytelling, cinematography, animation, graphics, gameplay, it was basically a next gen game, and we experienced it at the end of the PS4 generation, and it just makes me more excited for what Naughty Dog has in store. Like, they're working on their multiplayer aspect of Last of Us, and they're keeping it under wraps, and I'm sure that's going to be a very great. It's going to be a new thing for PlayStation, because PlayStation doesn't have an exclusive game that's multiplayer. Like, I can't think of a popular game that is exclusive and multiplayer on PlayStation. Like, for Xbox, that's where they dominate, the multiplayer. So they have Halo and Gears and
yeah.
So this would be something kind of new, or something that hasn't been done in a long time, having a AAA multiplayer experience. But anyway, we're talking about the Game Awards. How hyped are you for this Game Awards?
This year, not really, because I felt like
I agree. I'm in the same boat.
In terms of awards, I felt like there wasn't really any like big standout games that I really want to see it win a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
And in terms of announcements, similar. I felt like most of the big announcements have already been made. There could always be surprises. Who knows, right?
Jeff Keighley always got some. He's got some.
He's usually got a few things up his sleeve, so that should be all right. But I'm gonna keep my expectations in check. But in terms of the awards, the awards are usually kind of a little questionable, a little bogus here and there.
That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it, though.
So like the awards, it's like, okay, whatever. Like I don't really care. Like, just don't get too caught up in it.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 winning it. Okay, whatever. It's just a game. I tell myself it's just a Game Awards. It means nothing, right? Like, what's important is what's in here. Like, in here deep down, I know.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, Game of the Year last for 2020. That's all that matters. I don't care who tells me what. Even if Kojima is sitting right in front of me, telling me Last of Us 2, Game of the Year 2020, I'll be like, Kojima, you know what? You're wrong. I'll say that to his face.
I'll never do that. Because I would 100% agree with Kojima.
But
in terms of the awards, like, what are you expecting to see there? Like, this might be the most, like, who is gonna win? because
like
like
it's almost on par with,
usually every year you kind of have those star players in the
yeah.
game. Like last year, Last of Us Part 2 is obviously going to be in the nominations for Game of the Year. 2019, what happened in 2019? Final Fantasy 7 remake? No,
No, that was last year.
that was last year.
They no 2019 had Death Stranding, man.
Oh my god. What was that nominated for Game of the Year?
I think so, but I forgot which game won though. 2019.
Yeah, who won? That's not great. I can't remember. But yeah, anyway.
And then yeah, I remember not being too impressed by it.
Sekiro.
Oh yes,
Now that I'm remembering.
yes.
That
Yeah,
I don't know why it was surprising to me, but I was like, really?
yeah.
Really?
Considering
Interesting.
well, especially considering it's Jeff Keighley's show, and then Death Stranding is not nominated, we all thought like, oh come
Yeah.
on, it's like Death Stranding's gonna win it, right? But if that year felt like a kind of like a pity award for robbing them in 2015. He's now looking back. A lot of people are saying, yeah, you know what, Bloodborne should have won Game of the Year over Witcher 3 because that game didn't exactly age too well.
Oh yeah.
But at the time, during 2015, that game does seem more impressive than Bloodborne. Like I'm not gonna deny that.
It's just bigger.
It's
I'd
bigger.
say
That's
bigger story,
that's
bigger area.
it's much more appealing to the general for a wider audience, and that's why it has more appeal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what makes it the Game of the Year.
Yeah. Interesting. But what about this year? What's your list for the game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
like
we always
year,
talk about this, but I don't
yeah,
remember
we
your
talked
answers.
about this. I felt like I just want to say like this year kind of reminds me of 2012, where like the Game of the Year list was just pathetic. It was like it came down to like Dragon Age and NBA 2K12 and some other shit. Like we're like
A
really
sports
like this is
game.
all we
Damn.
like this is all we got like or like and then some.
I wasn't gaming in 2012, so I don't know.
Yeah, 2012 was pretty disappointing. I remember like it was, and I think even Bayonetta got nominated. That's how desperate they were.
Wow.
So this year it feels like a repeat of that. Like we just don't have that many games. Like because of a lack of options, I guess I have to nominate Ratchet and Clank, which normally it's not a game I would recommend or nominate for Game of the Year. Like
Really?
it's a really good game. It's a really good game. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't feel like personally I don't like it enough to the point I want to nominate as a Game of the Year. But because of the lack of options, and then well, personally, as of right now, I'm gonna say Legend of Heroes Kuro no Kiseki is my Game of the Year. I'm only like 10 hours into the game, but I'm already enjoying it. But it's Japanese only. I don't think that qualifies. And I also don't consider like remasters, so because otherwise it will be Death Stranding, Director's Cut. But if they count it, then maybe this is the year they'll give it to Death Stranding.
Doubt it.
I
Highly doubt it. There's a lot of other games that more like the general pop. Well, it's gonna be down to these media outlets that have to put their votes in for the games.
Yeah. So what popular like casual games has been released this year?
So I'll tell you what I think will be on the nominations.
There has to be one indie darling too, because it's kind of like Oscars, like these freaking judge panels. They have to like kind of flex their intellectuals. They have to nominate
They're
one
pretentious
artsy
yeah.
pretentious indie game. Not to say those are bad games, but you know that's what those indie games are there for. It's for the judge to kind of flex how smart and intelligent and wise they are, right? Oscar
putting their English degree to good use.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much.
But that's like the thing with a lot of game journalists. You know, they go to school for journalism, right?
Yeah,
and it's their entry into writing. A lot of these journalists, they want to be writers, so they see these games in that kind of lens. So it makes sense. And you know, time to time, I like to think of those games with that type of introspective kind of artsy mindset and lens. Like I'm looking at Death Stranding all the time with that kind of lens. But last night I was looking at it as like a pleb, as a layperson, casual, and I got to the point with the chiral artist and the junk dealer when they reunite. It's like, man, the writing is good, but this performance, bro. This performance is not it.
Especially well, we've both been watching a Metal Gear Solid 1 stream just before the podcast, and man, like the performance in that game, it's so good though, man.
Especially when you place it at its time, like 1997, 1998.
Yeah, 98.
That's like
what? That is
decades
impressive.
beyond.
That is like that was way ahead of its time.
It holds up. It holds up. But yeah, like this year, what I'm thinking, like the nominations you're gonna see, you're gonna have Deathloop. This is game of the year nominations
for game of the year. Yeah, okay.
You're gonna have Deathloop. You're gonna have Ratchet and Clank. You're gonna have Psychonauts 2. You're gonna have Death's Door.
Death's Door, yeah.
And I'm gonna say Resident Evil 8.
Oh, that came out this year. Yeah.
Those like along those lines, you might see most of those games, but definitely at least one of those games. Oh, Returnal. Shoot. Returnal 2.
Yeah, I was wondering why you didn't say Returnal, but that might not get too many votes because it was well received, but I don't think there was enough hype around that game for it to be a game of the year.
I think Returnal, it did leave a really prominent mark.
It left a good, yeah. It did well. It left a really good impression, but at the same time, it doesn't look like an indie game, but it is kind of like an indie.
It's an indie. It was an indie studio.
Yeah, it was an indie studio. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking it's not pretentious enough for people to put it in the game of the year nomination list.
I guess I get your point. Yeah. But yeah, Returnal. So now that I'm thinking about it, there are actually a lot of great games, but compared to previous years, there's not that standout.
Not that many.
This definitely deserves to be in the top 3, right?
But actually, let me go back to Returnal again. Like I can see Returnal swapping places with Deathloop, one of the two.
I think of the two, Deathloop will be. If one of them had to be on there, it would be Deathloop, because it has more of a traditional game kind of feel to it compared to newer. Returnal. Recency bias. And Returnal, it uses it's still indie at heart, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's indie at heart, and it's a very uncommon genre for casuals or for most gamers.
Yeah, for like a shooter roguelike, it's and don't forget like Deathloop has been shelled to death in all gaming events. Like
that's part of the loop, man. That's part of the loop.
I'm sick of seeing anything to do with Deathloop. I'm just like I've seen enough trailers for this game. Like just leave this game alone.
It's meta, man.
Yeah.
Deathloop is a great game. I gotta say, it's definitely in my running for game of the year. I got the platinum, and it's awesome. It's an awesome game. What they've done for an immersive sim, it really is as a experimental type of game. It does innovate in certain areas. It feels fresh. It definitely sets itself apart from the rest of the games this year. So.
So which game do you think will win game of the year?
For me, what will win game of the year? I'm gonna say, is this what I want or what I think will win?
What do you think will win? Not what you want. What do you think?
What I think will win. I'm gonna have to say Deathloop, because amongst a lot of critics, it's highly regarded, and a lot of prominent media outlets have given it scores of like 9s out of 10s, even 10 out of 10s. GameSpot and IGN, like one of the two of the biggest gaming outlets out there, gave it 10 out of 10s, right? So amongst the critics, you're talking about the pretentious lens of which these journalists view games and stories. Like, there is a lot to dive deep into Deathloop. There's a lot. Like, that's part of the storytelling of it. Minimal cutscenes and everything is kind of discovered through gameplay. And there's a deep lore in the island that you're on. So
okay, well,
I would say, yeah, Deathloop might take Game of the Year. Out of all of the options, like, it's significantly better than Resident Evil 8. Returnal, it's similar, but Deathloop is, I wouldn't even say it's polished. It's just got better packaging of content, I'd say.
Okay.
Versus, what is it? Psychonauts 2. I think Psychonauts 2 is a bit... It's actually... I haven't completed it. Psychonauts 2 has a great story. It talks about mental health, which is very important. And the way it talks about it is great. But the gameplay, it feels... It's still a platformer, so it does... It's... I don't want to say kiddish, but it's casual friendly? I don't know. The gameplay is solid, but it doesn't do anything amazing or great. Ratchet and Clank, that's the solid game. But the same thing, it doesn't really push any particular aspect of the game, of gameplay or game mechanics far. It's just like a really great looking game.
It's just a really well polished game. Yeah.
Like, that's gonna win art direction or graphics or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Deathloop's gonna win Game of the Year.
Okay. Because I just came to a realization that I forgot about. I think Yakuza 7 came out in the West this year, at the beginning of the year. If I remember correctly. And if not, I'm hoping... I know I'm just like, this is like a pipe dream. Either Yakuza 7 or Lost Judgment, I want one of these games to at least get nominated. Because I think it's long overdue that one of these games gets the recognition it deserves.
A Lost Judgment, like Game of the Year, you think it'll be up there?
Based on my experience with Judgment, I think it deserves to be nominated.
Really? I don't think it'll be in the Game of the Year nominations, but it'll have like another award, maybe for like storytelling or
maybe I don't know. But the thing is, if it doesn't get nominated for Game of the Year, I don't think it'll get like story or any of that, because if they don't, the main appeal of the game, it's the story. If they don't get nominated for the story, they're not gonna get nominated for Game of the Year. That's how I look at it.
I see.
Because like in terms of the package, like graphics is really nice. It has action. It's like a really complete package. The game, it's complete. It's appealing for casuals, appealing for hardcore gamers. It's just one of those, like, it has a really good story, well written, well acted, well executed. And it's just a really underrated franchise. Like the whole Yakuza and well, I guess Judgment is relatively new. So that's why I'm thinking either Yakuza 7, since I'm pretty sure that came out at the beginning of the year. So some people might have forgotten about it. Yeah, Like a Dragon. So Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
And that's when they switch over to the turn-based RPG combat. And I believe it received a lot of praise. A lot of people like gave it a lot of praise, and so for a while, like Yakuza was like getting some attention, and then now it's just kind of forgotten. So that's why I'm saying it's a pipe dream of mine to see one of those two games get nominated. Like, I don't expect them to win, but at least get nominated. Because compared to other games we have just listed, I think both Like a Dragon and Lost Judgment will be better. They are better.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What's the studio that created those games?
Well, it's published by Sega, and then within Sega, they have their own studio. Used to be just a team with no name, but now they made their own studio. It's RGG Studio. Yuga Gotoku. Studio. So it's basically the name of the Yakuza games in Japan. Because Yakuza in Japan is called Yuga Gotoku, or basically translates to Like a Dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
So we just call it RGG Studio these days. So it's Sega. It's like basically Sega's biggest franchise right now.
I see. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think we'll see those things in the nominations. Because
I highly doubt
just
it.
compared to what else is going to be on the nominations list, like what I'm thinking, like
Yeah, it's too Japanese. That's the thing, right? Like I feel like that's what's stopping it. If this game was made by American dev and takes place in an American city, yeah, I'm willing to bet my life this game will be in nomination. It's just it's too Japanese. It's too Japanese.
Okay.
It's too foreign that people might not be willing to kind of accept it or give it a chance.
Okay.
Because
All
like
right.
yeah, like you ask anyone who's played any of the Yakuza games, they'll tell you like graphics is great, gameplay is great, story is amazing, acting is amazing, and side quest is really really fun too. So it's just like just a really good game. Yeah, and anyways, that's enough of my rant on the Yakuza series.
Okay. Ricky. Moving on to number 3.
Yeah.
Bluepoint Games officially joins the PlayStation Studios family. Woohoo! Finally,
let's move on.
officially, has happened.
That's okay. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we need to know. Let's move on. Yeah, it's something we already know months ahead coming into this.
We're going over to the PlayStation blog, where Herman Holst, the head of PlayStation Studios, writes, welcoming Bluepoint Games to the PlayStation Studios family. Developers of critically acclaimed remakes joins the PlayStation Studios family. Today, I'm very excited to announce that PlayStation Studios has grown again with the addition of longtime partner Bluepoint Games. From the exceptional PS5 remake of Demon's Souls to the critically acclaimed PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus and remasters of fan favorites like Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection, Bluepoint has built a name for itself by creating some of the highest quality remasters and remakes in the industry. With each of its projects, Bluepoint has raised the bar on console-defining visuals and gameplay, and the studio's vast expertise in world building and character creation will be a huge plus for future PlayStation Studios properties. Welcome to the PlayStation Studios family, Bluepoint.
Welcome, Bluepoint.
And
about
Mark
time.
Thrush, the president of Bluepoint Games, writes or says, quote, we're thrilled to have officially joined PlayStation Studios. Austin, Texas has been home base for Bluepoint from when we first founded the studio back in 2006, and we're now a team of close to 70 super talented creatives and growing. While the studio has certainly grown over the past 15 years, our cultural beliefs have remained the same, to always push the envelope and create the highest quality games possible, all while having fun doing it. The focus on culture has been instrumental to our success, and we're excited that PlayStation Studios shares a similar culture and vision. PlayStation has such an iconic gaming catalog, and for us, there's been nothing better than to bring some of gaming's masterpieces to new players. Becoming a part of PlayStation Studios empowers our team to raise the quality bar even further and create even more impactful experiences for the PlayStation community. Thanks to everyone who supported us throughout the years. We can't wait to bring you more amazing games in this next chapter for Bluepoint Games, end quote. So, now that it's official, you think we're going to get Metal Gear Solid?
I was waiting to say that, man.
You think we're going to get it, bro?
Like, Metal Gear Solid remake? Bluepoint? Come on, give it to us.
God.
Either that or well, there is some rumors for a while they might remake Symphony of the Night. That would be pretty hype too.
This is a PlayStation Studios studio now. It's gonna be a PlayStation game. They're gonna remake. Right?
Well, or at least
an iconic PlayStation release.
Yeah, a game that was exclusive for the PlayStation, which Metal Gear Solid 1, yes. Symphony of the Night. I'm pretty sure that game was stuck on PS1. At least on PlayStation consoles. I
mean, they've done Demon's Souls, right?
Come on, Bluepoint.
Shadow of the Colossus. Man. Like, what remake do you want Bluepoint Games to make? Because they're part of the family now. They got games that they can remake. Like, I don't even want them creating new IPs. Like, don't do that. Like, you're great at making remakes. This will be the remake machine, and you got 15 other studios to make IPs. I think we got the remake like down for one studio.
Ooh, in terms of games that are exclusive to PlayStation,
Or at least they were exclusive when they launched. I'm thinking a Devil May Cry remake.
Nah, if that's the case, then I think Capcom will do it kind of similar to Resident Evil.
Oh, that's true. They should do that then.
So that's why, well, outside of Metal Gear Solid, I want to see that. Symphony of the Night, I want to see that. A game a lot of people kind of talked about, a game that has a very divided fan base. Some really hate the game, some really love the game. A game you've never played, Legend of Dragoon. A JRPG exclusive on the PlayStation 1, published by Sony themselves. Personally, I really like that game. It has a very unique battle system. It's the combat it's timing based. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, very frustrating, very limiting. So that's why the fan base is very divided. So I want to see a remake of that personally. Another game, it's a complete pipe dream. It's not owned by Sony. It was released for PS1, but it's not iconic. But it's. Anyways, it's Valkyrie Profile. I want to see a remake of that.
Valkyrie Profile.
It will never happen. It will never happen. Like Legend of Dragoon has a bit of a chance, whereas
there have been
Valkyrie
rumors
Profile,
about that game.
Yeah, there's been rumors, but Valkyrie Profile, it's owned by Square Enix right now, so yeah, whatever. It's not happening. It's forgotten. It was stuck as a mobile gacha game. It's dead. Just give it up.
I'm just gonna stick with Metal Gear Solid, bro. Like that's it, man. That's what I want.
So realistically, and games that people have rumored, have teased about, it's Metal Gear, Symphony of the Night, Legend of Dragoon. It's those free. It's those free.
Oh man, what about like PS3 games?
I think it's too soon.
Demon Souls was a PS3 game.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true, right?
Layer remake.
that PS3 game that deserves a remake, eh?
Killzone?
Nah.
Killzone 2?
Nah. It has to be something more like revolutionary. It has to be like very iconic, very revolutionary. It has to be something that kind of sends shockwaves across the industry. In a sense, that's what Demon Souls is, right? Demon Souls, the online mechanic, the combat, it created the Souls-like genre. You can't deny that. Demon Souls is. It's
but we're not gonna get a remake to do something like that.
But at least a game with like enough reputation, of enough star power, that warrants a remake. So that's why, Shadow of Colossus, I'm not sure how well it sold, but it was really revolutionary. Like in terms of gameplay, it's just no. It's a platformer, kinda. It's a puzzle game. You just climb Colossus.
I think Killzone 2 might be that game, honestly.
Nah, I don't think Killzone 2...
For PlayStation, they never really had a shooter game. And Killzone 2 was it.
But at the same time,
I don't think... if they had a remake and there was like a multiplayer to it, I would be all over that game.
Like, Killzone is a good game, but at the same time, I don't think it did anything that really blew people's mind.
It's just like a graphical achievement. It was
a really good looking game, but it didn't do anything that made people think like, holy shit, like I've never seen this before. Which is what Demon Souls did. And that's what Shadow of the Colossus did. And that's basically what Metal Gear Solid did. It blew people's mind. They couldn't believe what they saw.
Castlevania then.
In that sense, like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, I felt like it doesn't really deserve a remake by that criteria.
I mean, there's genres named after it.
But Castlevania has been around for quite a while. But then again, in terms of that format, I feel like that game really popularized it, along with Super Metroid.
Yeah.
So I guess Symphony of the Night, sure. Although if they remake it, I don't know how they'll remake it, because obviously you want to keep it 2D, right?
Man, right now I can't think of much games off the top of my head that I would want. The most is obviously going to be Metal Gear Solid, but I'm super glad that Bluepoint Games is a part of the PlayStation family, and they can share their know-how amongst the hardware, and they get, tidbits from all the studios, a part of the PlayStation Studios family.
Well, since you worked at HAD, what do you think about remaking the original God of War?
Ooh. The original God of War. Yeah, oh man. That'd be crazy.
Huh?
If they keep it the same way, just
keep it the same way, but just update the graphics and just
4K,
keep it the same way.
Man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, man.
God of War trilogy, whole trilogy. I don't know.
No, just the first one. Just the first.
No, 1 and 2. It gotta be 1 and 2 because they were on PS2, right?
I think that would be cool. Like I would be okay with that if they remake the original God of War. Like if they have to remake something, because actually, yeah, I think I do remember hearing them saying they're working on a new IP, Bluepoint. I seem to recall
that. I haven't heard anything
quite a few months ago. I seem to recall them working on a new IP. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll hear about it at the Game Awards.
You know what? Like, yeah, I'm actually like, I'm so down for a next gen God of War, like OG God of War and God of War 2.
Man, just let me play as Kratos again. Just go in there, just like fucking tear shit apart, whip my thing around, just kill everything inside. Yeah, man, just give me that.
Yeah. No, you got a good point. You got a good point there. But speaking of God of War, right? It is a very,
all right.
It is a very, very high-profile game, no matter what title you're talking about. But right now, we're talking about the 2018 version.
Okay,
and God of War.
I'm ready for action.
God of War 2018 has been voted to be the best video game of all time, according to the IGN brackets.
IGN has lost all credibility in my mind.
We're gonna go over to IGN.
Oh boy.
God of War is the winner of IGN's best video game of all time bracket. God of War defeated Grand Theft Auto 5 to take the crown.
No, the fact that these two games are in the finals hurts me.
All right, we're going to read about it. Adam Bankhurst over at IGN writes, after 26,604,825 votes and a challenging battle through a gauntlet of 64 of the most legendary games ever created, the fans have spoken, and here are the results. 2018's God of War has risen above them all to become the champion of IGN's best video game of all time bracket. Kratos and Atreus' unforgettable journey through the world of Odin and Thor secured the ultimate prize by not only beating the juggernaut that is Grand Theft Auto 5 by over 100,000 votes, but also by surviving an attempted bot attack on IGN.com that tried to sway the vote in its favor. However, Kratos wouldn't really be able to call himself a god of war if he couldn't handle some hackers. Now could he? I'm not going to read everything. I will, however, look at this. So we're just gonna take a little glance at this this bracket here. So
what happened to like Zelda or let's see, what else is big? Skyrim.
All right. Okay. Look.
Okay. Let's see.
We got 64 games here. We're just gonna go through a little bit of it.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this.
Hold on. It's kind of cut off here. Can you see that? Can we see it?
Well, I can see it, kind of.
I can't really zoom in.
Well, you can zoom in and scroll around, right?
Not really. That's the edge of the page. I have ultra wide on, so it's cut off.
Ah, damn. Well, we just look at some of the harder ones. Oh, I see Dark Souls.
Man, there's 64 games here. Am I gonna list them all?
Now let's list like the top 16.
The top 16. Okay, we're gonna go to this bracket here. Okay. Top 16, eh?
Top 16.
So we got Last of Us versus Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, I guess what you're seeing is different from what we see on stream. Okay. Oh, okay. No, never mind. It's delayed. I forgot your stream
Yeah,
is a few seconds behind. Okay.
Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5. That is that's a bad. See, like you can't take this poll seriously. Like, look at these votes. Last of Us versus GTA 5. GTA 5 wins. Come on.
That's a brutal matchup.
Look at
That's a
this.
brutal matchup.
Batman Arkham City over Dark Souls. How does this make you feel? 64 over 36. Silence.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. That deserves a silence. No.
Titanfall 2
No.
Bloodborne. Bloodborne just barely wins.
Wow. How? Okay.
Super Mario Bros. 3 versus Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild wins. We're gonna have to go through. We're gonna have to do a different stream for this.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk more about this in the post show, just a little bit. But yeah, definitely do not take that poll seriously. It's just a fun thing. And I feel like we just have to do a separate podcast just to talk about all the things that are going on there. Well, we'll talk about that after. But at the end of it all, a game that definitely deserved it. It won. Right here.
No, okay, yeah, like you said, the poll holds no value. The fact that Arkham City beat Dark Souls, no, that this whole poll it's a sick joke. Come on, whoever voted on it, those people are they're stoned. I don't know what they're thinking.
They are there's recency bias, probably younger people, and most of the votes came in from Instagram. So
that's how you know it's trash.
It's Instagram, Twitter, and poll on IGN. So it's like aggregate number of votes.
It's bad ticks. It's just bad ticks.
So
this should be like this whole post should just be called bad ticks. What is their baddest tick? And the right game won.
Out. God of War is the best game of all time, according to IGN. Do I agree? I can understand it. It for the PS4 is definitely the game of the generation.
No, not even for PS4.
Gameplay wise, amazing. Story wise, amazing. Overall game design and art direction and game direction, amazing. Oh man, just a well polished game overall. If you didn't like the gameplay, you played it wrong. I'm telling you that right now. That's my take. You probably try to play it like God of War in PS2, but this is a complete remake of God of War.
We've talked about this before. Let's not get into it. But
The
I don't agree.
correct
Let's just
take
leave it
is
at that.
it deserves best game of all time. Moving on, talking about God of War.
This is painful.
We're gonna go over to Christopher Judge's Twitter account because he explains.
More God of War.
He explains what really caused Ragnarok's delay. So this is actually very interesting information. So when did he talk about this? Here. Uh, so he writes, or he tweets in a thread of tweets, talking about the creation of Ragnarok, and basically explains what caused the delay. So he tweets, "Thank you to all the fans, not just of God of War, but to the gaming community. All of our games have been a lifeline during these difficult times. To my God of War family, I will never be shy about telling you how much I love you. I love all of you. We will continue to laugh, cry, and be great. 100 in my feels right now. I need to be forthcoming. This has been approved by no one." So he just took it upon himself to say this. "This has been approved by no one. To the beloved fandom, Ragnarok was delayed because of me. August 2019, I couldn't walk. Had to have back surgery, both hips replaced, and knee surgery. They waited for me to rehab. No threats, no who do you think you are, nothing but love and support. And Sony Santa Monica has never said a word about the delay and what caused it. Studios are assholes, but this company from top to bottom should give us hope. What they did for the crew is way more. That I can't talk about, but I've said to all involved, it's not the classiest thing that I've ever heard about in this business. Everyone involved in the God of War franchise puts their hearts and souls in every frame you see. I want to thank everyone that has allowed me to play and laugh and love and cry without judgment, but with unconditional support and love in this thing of all of ours." Last thing, Barlog told me at Tribeca that he wouldn't be directing the sequel. I quit. No joke. He said, "Do you trust me?" Yes. He said, "Eric is a beast." I said, "He better be." Update, Eric Williams is a motherfucking beast at Sony Santa Monica. I can now confirm I am Kratos. Well, that's a pin tweet. But the most important things I took out of it was that he caused the delay, but it was a very professional and saving face for Christopher Judge in the fact that they didn't explain why there was a delay. We just kind of assumed it was COVID, but this does cause a significant delay, obviously, for a game where he is the lead character, Kratos, and he had to go through rehab and basically surgery. There was replace his hips, his back, knee surgery. That's a lot, and especially for a game like God of War, you got motion capture, so makes sense that this game was delayed in terms of that, but also the support that he got from PlayStation and Santa Monica. So in a world in the gaming world where crunch and studios are evil and you always hear bad news, like this is a breath of fresh air that we can see support and care for a key person, a part of the team. And also that he vouches for Eric Williams, the new director, because in a previous report, we talked about how Cory Barlog is no longer the director for the sequel for God of War Ragnarok, but instead it is switched to be Eric Williams. And the fact that Christopher Judge quit because Cory Barlog wasn't directing, and then basically Cory told Christopher Judge, he's like, "Just trust me, Eric is a beast." And the fact that Christopher Judge just agrees after working with him should give us a glimpse of what we can expect with the sequel. But yeah, I know you are a God of War hater, so what's your take on this? What's your 100% incorrect and hot take about this?
I got no hot take. It's a cool story. Although at the same time, I wonder how long they delayed it, because from what I understand, he plays the role of Kratos, right? But he provides a voice and does mocap.
The whole game is mocapped.
No, because like
all
my impression,
the cutscenes, everything.
yeah, like because my impression is a lot of the times the games they get a separate person for mocap, and then they have someone do voiceover, kind of like what's the person who play Hicks? I forgot his name.
Troy Baker.
Yeah. So they have those people. They don't do the mocap. They just provide the voice, right? Well, sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't, right?
Well, I know for a fact that Troy Baker, in his most prolific roles as Joel and Higgs, definitely mocapped.
Yeah.
But he is a voice actor and does
is a
voices.
voice actor, right?
But that's just like animations, right?
Yeah.
In those other games. Yeah. But for high profile games, AAA titles where cutscenes are basically movies, like they definitely mocap, and they do the scene with all the balls, the suit, the mocap suit
of the voice actor, just to make it look more natural, I guess. Because like in a sense, like in terms of quality, you want the person doing the voice to be in the moment as well, so his lines can sound as natural as possible. But well, if you want a hot take, here's a hot take. I have to look at it from the rest of the studio's perspective, like all the staff, the CG animators, and whatever, everyone else working on the project. What do they think about this? Because are they still getting paid while they're waiting for this dude to recover? And we don't know what caused his injury. Is this like if it's his own mistake that caused his injury? In that sense, if he just went on a trip, went on a resort, went to hop onto jet ski and then fell off and he broke his bones, whatever. Like, can he just fairly, tell your rest of the employees, like, all right, you guys got no work for the next year because this guy fell off his bike and hurt his hip, and we have to delay the project. Like, that is my hot take. Like, if you want, something controversial, because it is a really good, heartwarming story, right? Like, it's rare to see a studio being this supportive to their staff. But if I have to look at this from other people's perspective who are also working on a project, I don't know how they get paid. If they're not working on a project, are they still getting paid? Like, are they just sitting around waiting? Do they have anything to support them during that period?
I would say your take is, like I said, it's 100% incorrect.
Yeah,
it's just speculation. But
it's speculation. It's speculation. That's why I'm saying, like, you want a hot take. Here's a hot take. It's like I do want to know more, like, what causes injury, because if it's work related, if it's very or just a unfortunate accident, then okay, by all means, that's very nice of Santa Monica to do. If it's his own fault for being dumb and you have to delay the project and everyone they're stuck waiting, then it's still nice of Santa Monica to do that. But what do you say to the people who are waiting?
It's not like everything halts. When you delay, you just go, hey, stay at home until this guy recovers. There's so many aspects to a game that everyone can be working on.
In that sense, then how long did his injury delay the game? Because if, like, when he first told me, the first thought that came across my mind is like, can they just work on other things while they're waiting for this guy to recover? When did he get injured? That's a thing too, right?
Yeah.
When did he get injured? How long did they have to wait? What could they have done in the meantime? There's still a lot we don't know, right? Like, it's still a very nice gesture, but if I have to be, like, really anal and technical and being an asshole about this is what I'll be looking at.
I don't think it's like, you can think about it that way, but
yes,
what are they going to do about it? Like, whether it's his fault or not, like, he is Kratos, right? You can't just replace him.
You can't replace him.
And
so that's why
I'm like the fact that he came forward and basically confessed, like, it was my fault. Like, you had. So this happened in August 2019. So this is before COVID. So it delayed it into the COVID seasons, and then that compounded the delays as well. Yeah. But the fact that it was delayed, what if they didn't delay it? What if we still have to hit this deadline? How much worse would it have been for the studio? So, and then I'm on Twitter all the time, and I see a bunch of devs over at Santa Monica Studios always talking about the work that they're putting in, how proud they are in the work that they're doing in terms of the game level design, cinematic cinematography team, the art direction team, the gameplay team, the level design team. Like everyone's always tweeting good things, but of course you're gonna have in a big studio or a big workplace, you're always gonna have some type of person that's gonna be complaining about something. But that's just the reality of life. The thing we can look at it is they could have obviously done things a lot differently. If we're gonna speculate, like they could have just still stuck to the deadline. They could have crunched. They could have got this game out when they wanted, but they chose not to. Instead, they chose to support. It provided more work for their workers, and and when Christopher Judge is talking about not only Santa Monica Studios, but like Sony themselves too, like they understand, like what you're gonna be making. We know God of War Ragnarok is gonna be an amazing title. You don't rush your rehabilitation. You basically have to learn how to walk again. He got surgery on his spine, hip replacement, knee surgery, like, and you're a performance actor, like you definitely have to be 100%.
Yeah, like as a consumer, like when I look at this, like I'm not saying like what happened and what Sony and Santa Monica did was wrong. I fully support them. I agree with what they did. You wanted a hot take, I gave a hot take.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but I just want to kind of look at this from a different perspective, right? Like because as from us looking at this whole situation, it's very heartwarming. Puts a smile on my face because you don't see companies doing this for their employees, right? So that is really good. Like I want to work for someone like that who cares as much about me, and the fact that they even didn't blame anyone, like both Sony and Santa Monica, they didn't say anything. They just say we have to delay it, and that's it, right? Like the point I want to get across is like if I am one of the devs working there, from their perspective, what is going through their mind? Because like did they get screwed because of this? We don't know, right? It's speculation. There's a possibility, and the fact that obviously they're not going to say it, right? They're not going to tell us. So the fact that there's still info missing makes me kind of want to look at this whole situation from the devs' perspective and what they think about it. Not just Sony, not just Santa Monica, not Cory Barlog, not Christopher. Everyone else who are working with them, what do they think? Because their perspective is probably very different.
I think as a dev, you don't care about the release date as much. You're probably more relieved that it's delayed.
Maybe like maybe it turns out like
I think when they heard
the news, like when they heard that Christopher got injured, they're like everyone's like, oh, thank the Lord, we have more time to work in the game. Like I don't know what stupid thing you did.
That's probably the most likely scenario, honestly. The only people that care about the release date are the gamers and like shareholders or whatever.
Shareholders and the publishers, like they're the ones who really care about the release date. Everyone else, they just want to do the best they can, right?
Yeah, like if I would be glad. Like just think about school days when you have this big assignment that's due like next week, and then the teacher just says due to unforeseen circumstances, unfortunately we'll have to extend the deadline for this assignment. You think the students are gonna be like, well, damn. I was really hoping that I can get this done a week earlier. No, everyone's going to be like, phew, I can do it next week then.
Yeah, well, on the flip side, it's like, what if they've done like everything they could and they're just waiting to, for his part to proceed.
Yeah.
And there might be some downtime, and are they getting paid during those downtime? That is like,
I'm sure they're getting paid. I'm sure. I
hope so.
I'm sure their work. There's like to this day they're working like why do we have crunch? It's because things aren't done, and like they didn't get enough time to do it. With this delay, now they have all this time, and I'm sure they're glad for it, and I'm sure that's why a lot of people are happy tweeting like, I love this team. I love working at Santa Monica, and I'm so proud to be a part of the dev team.
Well, let's hope so.
So, again, we got God of War Ragnarok coming out soon. There's not even a release date for it. We're just assuming it's 2022. But, again, once IGN does another one of these best games of all time, it's going to be Ragnarok now. 2022 Game of the Year, God of War Ragnarok. It's just the way it is.
And this is why, from now on, everyone, do not trust IGN. Stop getting your sources from IGN. I'm sick of seeing IGN. And everyone who reads it, everyone who votes for it, it's absolute trash. How can you vote God of War as best game of all time?
We're gonna have our own bracket. Next week we're gonna develop our own best game of all time list.
And I think after seeing this, I think the chat has to get involved, because if it's between me, you, and Hybrid, I'm alone. I'm alone fighting for justice. I can only do so much against these two villainous person with the wrong ticks. I need help.
Wrong ticks. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of people in the chat, so everybody stay tuned for a Ludens query best game of all time bracket. We're gonna do something similar to the IGN thing.
Oh, no.
We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna make the list. We're gonna try to do it as best as we can. It's totally gonna be biased, and most of all, it's just gonna be a fun time.
I'll be okay as long as God of War doesn't win again.
It's gonna make it up there. I'll tell you. It depends. It really
it'll be there.
depends.
I know it'll be there, because both you and Hybrid loves that game to shit, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Loves this game for obvious
reasons. I like it, but I think it's overrated. It's a really well produced game, but best game of all time, good now.
Oh, it's so good.
But
anyways, yeah, like I understand your point. Recency bias. It's 3 years ago we got God of War, and what it's done, how it's etched into my memory. Obviously, recency bias is affecting my judgment, and
it's affecting you.
I'm not an old school retro side scroller. It's okay, I guess, but a side scrolling game,
Young
best game of all
kids don't
time.
know anything about games. You don't know what game should be made, how it should be made.
No.
But
anyway, that is our show for today. This was a fun show. Ricky, where can people find you?
If you want more hot takes, come on over to twitch.tv/BaconBeercan. Yeah, come hang out there. That's pretty much all I got.
All right. And
yeah.
Thank you, Ricky. Yes, go over to his Twitch account, give him a follow, give him a sub. Today's the last day of September, so discounts on gifted subs.
By the time this goes on, I don't know when this episode will be going on YouTube, because the last 3 episodes are still stuck on YouTube, privated, not uploaded yet.
Oh, you put me on blast.
I have to do it, man.
I know. You gotta keep me accountable, man. Like that's strand. I'm a mule. I'm addicted to the deliveries, man.
And where can people find you?
You can find me on the beach.
You can find
playing Death Stranding, yo. Like that's where I am. But yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/MojoCritical. There I record these shows live. We're gonna be doing the best game of all time thing, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be here on the MojoCritical channel. Yeah, it's gonna be a great time, and come on by. And then obviously all of these episodes should be
uploaded on
YouTube,
the YouTube under
in
Ludens
a
Query.
timely fashion.
Yeah.
I will get on that.
Look up Ludens Query on YouTube. You guys will see our videos there.
Yes, Ricky has a lot of cool Super Robot Wars videos on there. If you're a fan of the series, he has weekly takes on it until officially the game comes out of Super Robot Wars weekly. 30. And then I'm sure he's gonna have a whole bunch more stuff coming up there too. So yeah, come on by, give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when those videos go live. And that is it for today, September 30th, 2021. This has been the Ludens Query Report. Thank you guys for watching. Keep playing, Ludens.
Catch you guys next time.
See ya.